Let's start with looking at some basic information about a process. In this lesson, we will look at the data from an online learning environment. While students learn on the environment, their activity on the platform is captured and can be used to identify different learning styles. The first thing to do is typically to look at a few basic counts. The number of cases, which identifies how many students there are, the number of different activities, showing us the different actions a student can perform. The number of events gives us an idea about the total number of learning activities which were performed by the students, while the time period tells us when they happened. To analyze process data, we will use the bupaR package. The learning object is a predefined event log object which contains the event data. Later on, we will see how you can create these event data objects yourself. Basic process statistics can be inspected by printing the summary of an event log or by using the count functions, such as displayed here. We can see that we have information on 498 students who performed 3,645 learning actions of 10 different types. Once we have an idea about the dimensions, we can look at the data in more detail. A good place to start are the activities. The activities are one of the most important characteristics of a process, as they describe both the actions which are executed and in which order this happened. More than anything else, activities define a process. In our example, there are 10 different activities. We can retrieve the different types using the activity labels function. We can see that there are 7 exercises and 1 assessment. Furthermore, students can also consult a dictionary and some theory pages. If we want more information on the activities, we can use the activities function. This will show us the number of times each of them occurs. In this example, exercise 1 has been done the most. In fact, the frequency is even higher than the number of students, which indicates that this exercise has been performed more than once by some students. On the other hand, consulting the dictionary or the theory pages has been done the least by the students. But a process is not only defined by the activities itself, but also by the order in which these activities occur. Indeed, each case is described by a sequence of activities. This is also called the trace of a case, as it describes the trace a process instance leaves behind in our data. We can have a look at a few example traces for students. For student 1, we see a very structured part, progressing through the different exercises and finally doing the assessment. However, student 2 starts with looking at the theory pages before doing exercise 1, which he executes 2 times in a row. Student 3 seems to be very confident as he immediately proceeds to the assessment without looking at the exercises at all. Finally, student 4 tries exercise 1 2 times but consults the dictionary in between. Certainly, not all traces are equally frequent or equally desirable. Some will lead to better results than others. In this case, good or bad grades on the assessment. A list of the traces can be retrieved with the traces function, or they can be visualized using the Trace Explorer. In the following exercise, we will have a look at our first process data, which describes the journey of a patient